11 demolitions gone wrong. Number 1. Springfield Power Station, Idaho, USA. In November 2010, the Springfield Power Station was scheduled to demolish the 300-foot chimney. Unfortunately, it didn't go as planned. The chimney fell in the wrong direction. People who were watching the demolition were forced to scramble to save themselves. It crashed down on two 12,000-volt power lines. Next, it crashed on top of a building that housed backup generators. Luckily, no one was injured. Number 2. Three-story building, Lipetsk, Russia. On June 16, 2013, a Russian man was working on a crew that was tearing down a three-story building in the courtyard of a hardware store. They were using a bulldozer and steel cabling to do the job. One of the employees at the shop started filming the demolition with his phone. Before the crew started on the job, they didn't make sure that nobody was around. As the building went down, pieces of rubble sprayed in large chunks in all directions. The man filming the demolition was killed instantly when he was hit with flying rubble. Number 3. Old Beer Brewery Storage Facility, Brisbane, Australia. The building that was once a brewery storage facility in Brisbane was set to be demolished. The building was 50 years old and it was deemed to be unsafe. To get the job done, the team gathered 220 pounds worth of explosives. When they blasted the building, the silo didn't topple over. It stayed at an angle for 40 minutes. It took a man and his jackhammer to completely get the building to come down. Several people who witnessed the blast took a video and posted it online. Number 4. Apartment building, Luzhou, China. A real estate company was planning to demolish a 22-story apartment building to make room for a new project. The demolition team gathered their explosives and then detonated them. They expected the building to come crashing to the ground. Unfortunately, only half of the building went down. The other half remained, standing at a slant. Because this was unsafe to everyone around the building, they had to bring in a crane quickly to finish the job. Number 5. Turkish building. When most buildings are scheduled to be demolished, they go down right away without any problems. There are some cases, however, where the buildings refuse to fall. A building in Turkey was scheduled to be demolished, and the demolition team brought in 300 pounds of dynamite. This was said to be more than what was needed, but they figured that it would be better to be safe than sorry. When they attempted to knock the building down, it remained standing. It took several attempts to completely get the building down. Number 6. Wall demolition. A demolition company was in charge of knocking down a wall. Unfortunately, the company didn't follow proper safety rules. When the wall came down, it came dangerously close to hitting several cars and the bystanders below. Luckily, nobody was injured. The demolition company was cited for failing to take the proper safety precautions, and they lost a great deal of business. Number 7. Residential garage, Lincolnshire, England. During this botched demolition, a man nearly lost his leg. A residential garage was being demolished when the garage that he was working on collapsed on top of him. The man, Jack Weir, was buried underneath a huge pile of rubble. He managed to dig his way out. When he made his way out of the rubble, he noticed that his left leg was hanging from just a strand of skin. He was rushed to the hospital, and luckily his leg was saved. It was a long process, and he needed rehabilitation for a long time. However, he was able to walk normally again. Number 8. Home renovation goes wrong. This is one of the scariest demolitions gone wrong. A renovation team in Toronto was working on the home's basement. While they were digging out the basement, the building began tipping. It tipped so much that it came close to collapsing, and it fell against the neighboring house. The members of the crew stated that the foundation wall had buckled. It caused the house to lean and drop on one side by at least a foot. Luckily, no one was injured during the incident. However, the home had to be demolished. Had the renovation crew not dug out the basement, the home would still be standing today. Number 9. The Philips Building, Eindhoven, Netherlands. A demolition company was hired to knock down the Philips Building located in Eindhoven in the Netherlands. Unfortunately, the experts didn't set the charges on the explosives correctly. The entire building went down. However, the elevator shaft remained standing after the blast. The shaft remained in place until a wrecking ball came in and took out the elevator shaft. It ended up costing the company more money, but it was the only way that the elevator was going to come down. Number 10. The Zip Feed Mill, Sioux Falls, South Dakota. On December 3, 2005 at almost 1 p.m., the Zip Feed Mill tower was set to be demolished. The company hired the best demolition experts in the business. When the blast went off, the building settled down into the basement. It didn't go any further. The building sat there at a lean for 2 weeks. Finally, the company came back and they smashed the building down since it was clear that a blast wasn't going to work. It took the demolition company weeks to get the building down completely, but they had no other option. The building seemed to be immune to explosives. Number 11. Harley Branch Generating Plants. The coal-fired power station located in Putnam County in Georgia was set to be demolished. It had one of the tallest chimneys in the world, and it stood 1,001 feet tall. Boaters often used the chimney to navigate Lake Sinclair. The building was supposed to be knocked down on October 9, 2016. Unfortunately, the demolition had to be postponed because of Hurricane Matthew. The demolition went through on October 15th, and the explosion took down the entire stack. Subscribe for more.